Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. I gotta ask a question. How much disbelief do you have to watch some of this stuff? Okay, let's start off with the whole Susan and Ben and Claire and Ciara and Rhodey. Now, I'm not gonna really get into my thoughts on the whole psychics or whatever. Because I know, people do actually use them in real life in some cases and stuff like that. I'm not going to get into that, but I feel like this is the only way. Is this the only way they could just move the plot forward? They haven't had contact or any luck as far as finding Ciara. Now, I think part of my question is, when they do find Ciara, because it's pretty obvious that the woman that plays Hope is not coming back. So, are they going to get a new Hope? What's going to go on? Because that's a really interesting question. I guess we'll just wait and see. But yeah, this seems like this is the best way for the writers to advance the plot. By having a psychic and a very cartoony one, I'm going to sit there and say, at that. So, yeah, they're going to have the psychic somehow or steer them in the right direction. Okay, sure. So yeah, this is pretty much the scene. You have the psychic or Susan telling Ben and Claire what's going on with Ciara, which, by the way, I think everyone kind of already guessed that she was not getting out of there. So after she knocks him out, she hits him over the head, then she tries to open the door. But the door is locked. So she tries to get the key from him, and the minute she does, he wakes up. Somehow they fight, or, she fights him while she grabs the key. She opens the door, she's about to run, and then he pulls out a gun. And I was just like, I'm waiting for it. Yep, there we go. Alright, yep, alright, I knew it. Alright, so we're going to stretch this out for another, month? We're going to stretch this out for another month. So he has the gun on her, and, he gets her back inside, and then he's like, your reading privileges are taken away because you got the idea from a book. So, that happens. Ben is like, at some point the connection cuts off from Susan, and Ben is like, no, you gotta try again. And she tried to use this, I can't even believe I'm saying this. She tries to use his love for Ciara to connect them to, bridge the gap or whatever to see what's going on. So, the last thing that they saw was a gun that went off. Because that's what happens. As she, she decides to come back, she grabs the gun, it goes off, and then, well, nothing happens. She just goes back inside of her cage. But that's the last thing that Susan told Ben. And after that, she needs to take a rest, and now Ben and Claire, are sure that she's alive. Which is kind of weird, because the last time, before she was doing her whole psychic mojo, she was all like, Elvis is alive. So I'm just like, not to rain on anyone's parade, but this is the same woman that just told you that Elvis is alive. Okay, so we're doing this. I don't know if this is some sort of cheap ploy at comedy, but it ain't working for me. Just gonna throw that out. It's just not working for me. But, Claire and Ben are just kind of questioning, how they're going to get her back. Is she going to be okay? The last thing that Susan said was the gun going off. Now they're worried and they don't even know where to start at. So I guess they're going to, be using Susan for more clues, because that's apparently how we're going to be, advancing the plot. Because reasons. I don't know. I think part of me... Listen, I'm not going to sit there and say that I don't believe that psychics don't... It's not that I don't believe in psychics. It's just one of those things where it's like... I have to experience it for myself. And I'll leave it at that. So, on the other side of town, Brady gets a call from Kristen. And he's upset with Kristen. He's like, yo, you came to the hospital, you put the gun. How many times, how much, years they're going to sit there and tack on for that sentence. On top of that, you're sitting there blaming Chloe. And that's when Kristen is like, yeah, so why'd you lie to me? And I was like, yeah, Brady. Why'd you lie to her? I don't really understand. I don't know what he sees in this woman. I really don't. Because she just comes across as, well, just bat crazy. I'm trying not to curse, but she just comes across as bat crazy. But even more, she just comes across as dangerous. Like literally, she comes across as just lethal. Like, she doesn't get her way, she'll just kill someone. Like, that's the woman that you want to sit there and say that you love, and you... I'm like, you want to sit there and have your daughter around her? Oh, okay, alright. Wow, bro. Damn. I get the appeal to the bad girl, but there's bad girls and then there's her. But anyway, he's all like, oh, well, I lied to you because I didn't want to, I wanted to avoid this conversation, in a platonic... I can't believe he actually said a platonic kiss. One second. Okay. Yeah, so he's all like, the New Year's Eve kiss, that was a very platonic kiss. And I'm like, platonic? Really? Like, how do you... there's certain things that I feel like sometimes in soap operas people say, and you try not to question it too much, because you don't want to sit there and think about it for too long. But how the hell do you actually sit there and say with her that she's already jealous of her, and you sit there and say, oh, just a platonic kiss? And then on the other side of that, I'm just like, bro, damn well she kissed somebody else and she said it was just platonic. How would he feel? So I'm not really with it in that whole scenario. But they talk for a little bit, and at some point Susan comes to the room and he hangs up the phone, and I don't know, then she's all like mad, but then she's like she's gonna use Susan somehow to, like, I don't know, escape or something. I don't really know. I don't know how she's gonna do it, but they're gonna find a way, because we gotta advance the plot. At any point, I still can't believe they're using this whole psychic thing to try to get Ciara. But okay, you know what? People watched Passions for a long time, and I'm pretty sure they had witches and warlocks, so whatever. Anyway, Susan comes in the room and she annoys Brady. Then, now Lonnie and Eli surprisingly get to... I thought that they were going to be like, somebody, the door's going to open, it was going to be something totally different. Anyway, they get to the door, they see Yvonne, which, by the way, I think this guy is what they consider the ultimate simp. The ultimate simp. I think that's just the goal at that point. So, they get to the door, they have their guns there, and he convinces them to, put their guns away, and then he convinces them to put their cell phones away, and then he leads them into a room, and it's a trap room. And I'm not gonna lie, I sat there and I was like, okay, so he gets them into this room, and he's like, oh, okay, cool, bye, and he closes the door, and I'm not gonna lie, I laughed my ass off. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? You know, honestly, to tell you the truth, I mean, listen, I get that he was somehow able to get them to lower their guns because they were concerned about the baby. And at that point, they really didn't, we don't have guns, so what's the point of having cell phones? But the fact that they were in the room and they looked around and they just let Yvonne be behind them with the door there, okay. Okay. Like I said, you gotta sometimes just really just spread your disbelief, because I can't. So yeah, now they're trapped. They don't got guns, they don't got cell phones, they got nothing, and Yvonne is lying to Vivian about them being like salespeople or something. And Vivian is all, it's all about that. It's all about that baby life now. And she thanks Yvonne for being the ultimate simp, because that's exactly what I'm gonna call him. That ends that story. Now I think the final one is, what's their names? Chloe and Philip. Philip tries to kiss Chloe, and Chloe's like, you need to kind of clean up your mess or whatever, pretty much. She turns him down, but she doesn't completely turn him down, which I'm just like, what are you doing, Chloe? And the reason why I'm sitting there saying that is because he's like, she doesn't want to jump into a relationship with him, because he feels bad because he was with Mimi, and he wrecked things with her, and I don't really understand how Chloe didn't just completely shut him down, for a couple of reasons. First of all, this dude was so rushing into trying to get with Sarah, and she saw that. And Sarah turned him down, and then he tries to get with her, and I'm like, bro, she's not a consolation prize. What are you doing? So she turns him down, but not completely, and I think that's just kind of another problem that I have. It's like, listen, don't string him along. You don't make him sit there and think that he has a chance with you if you really don't want him to be with you. Maybe I'm just kind of an all or nothing guy, but I'm like, I'm kind of playing the middle. I don't know about that. But then, Philip is like, do you still have something for Brady? And, she tries to deny it. She's like, oh, well, he's in love with Kristen, and, I have no interest in him, and, Kristen is crazy, and, yada, yada, yada. But I felt like she didn't mean anything that she said, and I'm just like, what are you doing, Chloe? Like, he's with Kristen. One, he's with Kristen. He only has eyes for Kristen. And two, Kristen's crazy. Literally bonkers. No, you know what? I'm not even going to sit there and use the word bonkers. I'm going to use the word deadly. Like, she is a sociopath, okay? This woman is a sociopath. And you have a child. Like, why would you want to sit there and get involved with him, knowing how dangerous she is? I don't really understand that. And granted, I was never around for, the whole Brady versus Philip, the whole love triangle thing, but I feel like she's doing it again. And I'm not really a fan of somebody that doesn't know what they want and is just kind of stringing along both parties because I don't know, it just makes their ego feel better. I mean, she's not that type of person, but at the same time, she's not really, like she's not being active as far as, like, really, like, being like, hey, listen, I don't want to be with you. I don't want to be with you. I just kind of just want to do my own thing. And I feel like she's kind of like, well, I don't want a love triangle, but, if it happens, I can't really, stop you guys. Like sort of that mentality. And I'm just like, that's not really working for me either. So I feel like, in some sort of way, she is kind of guilty as far as stringing both of these guys along. Or at least that's how I saw it before, like when they were both actively trying to go out with her. But I don't know. I could be wrong. And if I am, write it down in the comment section below. I think that's pretty much about it. Yeah, and it looks like Ciara's going to be captured for like maybe another 2 weeks, I'm guessing, because we need to stretch out the plot. Days is a very interesting show. It's a very interesting show. There's times where I could just sit there and just laugh my ass off at certain things. I remember when I first started watching it, and this is when they were trying to find Gwen, and it was Jake, Ciara, and Ben there, and it looked like it seemed like it was an important conversation, but the way that Ciara was like hanging on Ben, it seemed like they were posing for some sort of Abercrombie and Fitch commercial, and I just laughed my ass off, and I was like, okay, so this is the show. This is the show that I need to watch, because it's going to entertain me one way or the other. Anyway, with that being said, I think that's about it. If I left anything out, please write it down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts about this new love triangle thing, and about what I said as far as her, well, what I said? Write it down in the comment section below. Did you like this episode? Did you not like this episode? Hope everyone has a great weekend. Be safe. I will catch everyone in the next review.